When I left work in August 2025, I really needed a break. My plan was to take time off, spend time with family, work on my health, and pick up some new hobbies. I also wanted to keep options open, though, to other interesting job opportunities that might come up. So far, I'm following the plan. At this stage of my life, I'm really not driven by money, but more about seeking greater personal fulfillment and balance in my life. Hi, I'm Aaron. Welcome to Real Fi Talk, where we talk about the ups and downs of financial independence, how to achieve it, and how to sustain it. In this video, I'm going to share what I've been doing over the last 6 months since I stepped away from my corporate tech job. Let's get started. So the first thing that I did when I left my job was to go to Napa. We did a long weekend trip, my wife and some friends of ours, and it was really fun. We went down there, did some wine tasting, and ate some good food. I'd only been to Napa once before, and I'm not quite sure if wine tasting is for me still, but it was really fun to kind of step away with friends. It didn't really feel different than any other vacation, though, since I was only about a week away from the date that I left my company. The next thing I did was take my son, who plays baseball, to a lot of tournaments. So this was August, and that's a busy time of year for high school baseball. And I think he had a tournament almost every weekend, which really starts on a Thursday and goes all the way to a Sunday. So we spent a lot of time driving around our state, and it was fun. It was a good time, and I'm glad I got to spend that time with him. So the next thing that I did was I took on a construction project. And look, I am not a contractor. I don't have a lot of skills at this, but I do like to collect tools and figured I needed to put those to work. I had a shed that had a roof that was kind of rotting out and took on the project to replace the shed roof. It took me about 5 or 6 days. It probably should have taken me about two and multiple Home Depot trips, but it felt really fulfilling to kind of be out there working hard, learning something new, doing something physical. It was really hot, and I'm glad I was able to accomplish it. So the next thing that I did was I started teaching myself to cook by watching YouTube videos. And I started with pretzels and pizza. Those are two of my favorite food groups. And I got pretty good at it, actually. I tried a number of different recipes, actually bought Lye, which is the secret to get brown pretzels, off of Amazon, and created a really good pizza dough that's based on kind of thin crust bar style pizza, which the family really enjoyed. The next thing that I did was picked up my bass guitar again. And I also picked up this theory book that I'd purchased, I think, a couple of years ago. And I've been slowly going through that book to just improve my theory and improve my bass guitar skills. The other thing that I've been focused on is walking. It's my form of exercise. I live in a pretty good neighborhood for taking long walks. And when I was working, I was only getting 4, maybe 5,000 steps in a day. I would kind of roll out of bed, jump on my computer, and do that till night. And just didn't have any energy to walk or to exercise. And that really impacted my health. So now I've got my steps up to about 11,000 steps a day, which I'm really excited about. I want to push for 15,000 steps. And for those rainy days, I picked up something called a walking pad, which is this fold up treadmill that you can literally put it right in front of your TV and get all your steps in. So that's been a big hit, not just with me, but with my wife, who's been also using it. The other thing I've been focused on is just reading more. Reading a lot of financial books, reading some books about parenting, and whatever topic comes to mind. And just having that time every day to probably spend 30 to 60 minutes reading has been just an amazing blessing for me. I've really enjoyed having that time. The one thing that I've been doing less is probably watching TV. And I also find that if I'm watching a show and I don't really connect with it right away, I just turn it off. There's so many options out there and so many different ways to spend your time. if it's not engaging, I just don't bother. That being said, one of my favorite TV shows that I picked up has been The Pit, which is kind of a, uh, I guess, homage to ER. And that's been a really good show I've been watching on HBO. The other thing I've been doing is little cleanup projects around the house. And this isn't particularly fun, but just getting boxes off of the floor of my garage, getting things put away. Also cleaning up a couple of our top drawers, which are just kind of the pencil collect all drawers, tape measures, you name it, and applying a little bit of organization to those drawers just make me feel better. The other thing I've been focused on is my spiritual growth and just making more time to go to church and spend time with people from my church community. And that's really been a blessing to me. And I'm glad I've had a chance to focus on that. The other thing I focused on was embracing the Christmas season, which is one of my favorites. And this past fall and winter, I spent time putting up Christmas lights on both levels of our house, and that was something that was kind of exciting for me to do. I put in LED lights too, so to conserve energy, and also so I wouldn't trip the breaker, which had been a problem in the past. To embrace the Christmas spirit as well, I volunteered at a local theater, and I got to usher both of their plays that they did for the Christmas season, and that was really fun. It was fun to engage the public and also to get to see shows for free. I didn't know that was a thing. I was probably the youngest of the ushers there, but I guess there's a whole usher circuit that goes around to different theaters and volunteer to usher one or two times per show, and they get to see the shows for free. So the other ushers that were there, they were ushering 3 or 4 times a week to see different shows during the Christmas season. And probably the biggest thing that I've done was to start umpire school. So I really like sports. I like youth sports. I've been a coach in the past. And my youngest son is an avid baseball player, and he is in high school now. And as I look into the future, I wanted to find a way to stay connected to sports, especially to baseball. And being the scorekeeper for many years for his baseball teams have led me to asking, well, what could I do next? Well, I kind of like rules and I wanted to be involved with the game. So I'm actually going to umpire school. And my goal is to start umpiring high school games, and we'll see what the future holds. Maybe someday college games. So that'll be how I'm spending my time this spring and summer. I'm also excited about taking some trips later on this winter. We're going to be going to spring training, my wife and I, later on in February. And I think with our older son, we might be planning a trip around his spring break. I'm also excited for the baseball season for my younger son, and I'll be spending a lot of time with him on the road as he wraps up both his high school season and goes into summer ball. So I'm really excited about what's ahead and what's in store. My goal is to evaluate where I'm at in September. At that point, I might jump in with 2 feet back into the job market. I might do something on my own, or I might keep doing what I'm doing. We'll see. So that's a quick wrap up of my 6 months. And I'll tell you, I was a little nervous about leaving my job. I didn't know how I was going to spend my time exactly. I had a few ideas, but it's really been a great experience. When I first stopped working, I was in this rush to get stuff done, check off all my to-do lists that I had building up. But now I'm finding a good balance. And I think that's the key. And for those of you who are going through the same experience, make sure to give yourself time to decompress. That is really important for your health and just for your overall well-being.